Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the brand new release from Clemens Wijers, Parasite Twin, out July 26. It has 5 tracks, 17 minutes in length. Now, Clemens is better known for his work with Karak Angren. This is his solo project, and this is a much different sound than what you are used to listen to with Karak Angren. This is a more industrial, electronic-driven, EP-driven sound, still keeping some very few Karak Angren components in there, almost like a fragrance of Karak Angren. And to me, I felt that was more predominant in the lyrics and the darkness of the lyrics and the way the stories are told within the lyrics. Also with some of the symphonic elements that are present on the record, and the overall, obviously, the overall darkness and the mood and the atmosphere that this EP has. So those to me were the things that he transported from Karak Angren here. But overall, when you sit down to listen to this EP, this is a much different sound. It's a much different approach. It's a 180 from what you get from Karak Angren. Overall, I really like the EP. I like the dynamics of the EP. I like how it sounds. I like how it's structured. I like the fluidity that it has. And I really like the diversity and dynamic of the songs. Each of the songs is completely different. They all have their uniquenesses to it. Their structures are different. How they're put together is different. The way the vocals come across are different. The only thing that really holds this whole EP together is that industrial electronic sound. That is the common denominator throughout the whole EP. That is the glue that keeps it together, because everything else around it changes from song to song. Speaking of that, let's get into it. This EP, like I said, has 5 songs. This is a track by track. So let's start with the first track on the EP, and that's Machine. Perhaps one of the songs that has a little bit more of that Karak Angren fragrance, specifically with the lyrics, with the way the lyrics come across, with the way the story is told. Very dark, has a very dark, somber feel to it. Also a little bit of the symphonic elements that kind of peek their heads throughout the track. So those two elements kind of remind you a little bit of Karak Angren, but that's about it. The drum track on this song is absolutely killer, heavy, dark. It really sets the mood. It sets the tempo. It gives the song such a heavy nuance to it. When you mix that heavy drum track with the industrial overall sound that the track has, it becomes absolutely brutal. It's a brutal track from the beginning to the end. The vocals on this specific song really allow the story to feel even darker and more haunting. The approach to the vocals on this specific track work extremely well. They add an atmosphere to the lyrics. They bring the lyrics to life. They give the song itself is heavy, but the vocal approach gives the lyrics an even more dark and somber feel. I really like the way the story is told. The story is told in the first person. It's the story of a killer, and he's talking about how he dissects his victims. So I really like that. It's a really chilling track throughout, with a lot of moments of heaviness, some symphonic elements here and there to really create an ambiance, to really create an atmosphere. But overall, the way the track comes at you with the heaviness from the drums, with that industrial sound, and then the way the vocals are delivered really creates a heavy but still very haunting experience as far as this track is concerned. The second song on this EP is Parasite Twin. This song sees a change more in the vocals and also in the song structure itself, but I felt the predominant change from the previous track to this one was really in the vocals. The symphonic approach to the chorus of the song really adds a theatrical vibe to the song, and that's where I felt a little bit of that Karak Angren influence, where they're able to create a very cinematic feel to their tracks with the symphonic elements that is also present in this track. This song really has a cinematic vibe to it, and the way the symphonic elements work, but also in the way the song comes at you from a vocal perspective. And that is something that I really enjoyed about this track. That's something that I really loved about the track, was how the vocals were coming at you, how they were structured throughout, how the delivery. I think the most important thing about the vocals on this track is really the delivery. I thought it was very unique, very different, but it added something to it. It added an ability to better tell the story. Now, this song overall really blends, like I said, it really blends that cinematic approach that you get from the symphonic elements with a more industrial bass core, spinal cord that the track has. Perhaps two elements that you don't necessarily see coming together in one track, but I really like what they did here. It makes the overall song feel like a very dark child's lullaby. That's the absolute atmosphere and vibe that I got from listening to this song, because it really alternates those industrial moments, those heavy industrial sounding moments of the song, with the more symphonic, cinematic, theatrical elements when you have the symphonic elements coming in. So you really have these two worlds, and when you put these two worlds together, what you do is you create a very dark and somber child's lullaby. It totally has that vibe, not only from the music that's coming at you, but how the vocals deliver the lyrics. Those two components to me is what sets this song apart. Third song on the EP is Nightmare. This song brings another change to the table. This song has a more beyond these first two songs. I think Nightmare is the song that sets itself apart the most from Karak Angren. The first two had a lot of Karak Angren elements to it, had a lot of fragrances of Karak Angren. This song starts to set the table and starts to set itself apart as far as the rest of the EP is concerned from that. It becomes a lot more electronic driven, it becomes a lot more industrial electronic driven, and that becomes almost the main piece to the song. It still uses some symphonic instrumentation. Specifically, there's a very thin layer in the background of the track, but it's no longer the driving force. It's no longer something that really becomes main part of the song and becomes in the forefront of the song. The song really becomes all about that industrial electronic sound, and that's really what drives the song. The orchestration in the middle of the track is absolutely haunting. When you add the drums to it, it becomes extremely haunting and heavy and sinister at the same time. It just creates a very sinister undertone to the track, so I really like what they did with that instrumentation there in the middle. Not something I was expecting from this song, specifically because it had a more industrial electronic vibe to it as the song starts. So adding that bridge there in the middle with the orchestration really changed everything. It really changed everything, but it went back to it again. It went back to that more electronic driven song, and that bridge there in the middle just added more darkness to a track that already has a lot of it. The track that comes right after this is Fucked Up. I really feel that Nightmare and Fucked Up are really combined as one. They're two separate tracks, but I really feel one feeds off the other. Fucked Up really felt to me as the continuation of Nightmare. One really continues where the other one left off. There are some similarities to the structure and to the sound of the song, so I really felt that these two really just felt like part one and part two. I found the sound and the overall state of mind of this song really comes from the lyrics. It comes from the music as well, but the lyrics play a big role because they seem scattered. They seem like scattered thoughts. And it almost feels like a nightmare that has become reality, and you start to question yourself in terms of what is your own reality. And that's why I feel like these two songs are really part one and part two, because the two are very interconnected, lyrical but also musically. So I really felt that there was a continuation there, and this song, it was the result of the previous song, almost you waking up from a nightmare to perhaps to find out that you're still in a nightmare, and now you're not really sure what is real and what is a dream or a nightmare. I just really like the dynamic, and I really like how these two songs came back to back because they really feed off of each other extremely well. Last but not least, the last track on the EP is Closing In. The lyrics of this song are perhaps the darkest of the record. The lyrics talk about a stalker, the inner world of a stalker, how a stalker thinks, his approach, his methodology. So from a lyrical perspective, this song perhaps is the more robust of the EP, the darker one for sure, but the more robust. The changes in the vocals on this song, between the verses and the chorus, really brings the story to life. It really brings the story closer to you. There is a clear dynamic, a clear change between the vocal approach in the verses and the vocal approach in the chorus. The song has a really sinister vibe to it. A lot of it is due to the way the vocals come at you, the first person talking. That whole approach really creates a very sinister vibe. It really adds, it enhances, doesn't add, it enhances the darkness that the lyrics already have in them. So that approach, I really liked it because it really enhanced that experience. The melody in the background, almost there's this melody on the background of this specific song that almost feels like a jewelry box kind of song, like that melody when you open up a jewelry box. It totally feels like that. It gives the song a Silence of the Lambs mood, atmosphere. You almost feel like you're in Buffalo's Bill house, in his lair, and he's talking to the mirror. You totally get that vibe from this track. It really brings that to life. It's a track that's really well orchestrated, and it's really well structured. It feels like you're listening to a mini movie, to a short movie, to a short story. It has a lot of thickness to it. It has a lot of bite. There's a lot of meat on the bone. There is a part of this song that includes an acoustic guitar. It almost feels like a Spanish classic guitar melody, and then you feel that in a song like this would add some beauty, would perhaps open some light in a world of darkness, but it doesn't. It actually gives the song a sense of ending, a sense of finality, a sense of death. In beauty, there is death. It's absolutely majestic the way that piece there completely works the opposite of how it sounds. So, and then after that, the story continues with a lot of darkness. So that moment, it almost feels like a life was taken, and that is the sound of the life trickling away. Absolutely, by far for me, this is the best track on the EP. I really love it. It just has a lot to it. All right, guys, this is it. This is Parasite Twin, out July 26th. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.